Craig Cox is back, and as always, Doug Lawrence, a fan favorite.
And the Blazers are going the other way with some new guys. They've lost their top 2 defensemen, so they brought in a couple of kids from the university who've added a spark. Although neither team is playing all that great coming in, but they both have got to have this. When you saw how tight the standings are, expect playoff caliber hockey tonight.
Need to do it. Not many games left in the regular season. 8 counting tonight's for Tulsa and 6 for Oklahoma City. Bill Tegans.
Our national anthem is going on. We'll take a break and be back with tonight's game right after this on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
Load it up and have a ball. Pontiac transport's got it all.
The roominess and convenience of flexible seating. 2, count 'em, 2 built-in child seats. Pontiac's exclusive power sliding door. Touch the button and let it slide.
To the Myriad, Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Should be a great battle tonight. Again, both teams fighting for that important playoff spot. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, just a handful of games left. John Anderson and Ed Murray are ready to bring us all the action, so sit back and enjoy. Should be great hockey tonight.
Thank you, Bill Tegans. Back up high here at the Myriad, just getting ready for the start of the game tonight. Tulsa and Oklahoma City. As we said, not many games left in the regular season, and now is the time with only 8 games left for one team, 6 for the other. And a surprise tonight, Mark Kavlin in goal for Tulsa. That's probably the first thing you notice for this late arriving crowd at the Myriad. They forgot they've got an early start here.
Yeah, but before Blazer fans start getting excited that Martino's not in the net, Kavlin 5-0-3 in his last 8 starts, 91% save percentage in his 2 games against the Blazers this year. So it's not that much of a drop-off.
Very good. To borrow from the NHL, game on. Tulsa controlled the face-off, but now it is Oklahoma City dumping it in to the Oilers' own. Kavlin plays it there behind the net where Simone picks it up, centers it out in front, and it's cleared by the Oilers.
Mike St. Jacques back on the ice for the Blazers. Missed the last 2 games with an injury. I shook his hand the other night after he had that injury. He nearly went down to his knees. Right hand got slashed across there, but he's feeling good enough to play tonight.
Simone picks it up in the right wing corner there of the Oilers zone. Lakovic controls it back behind the net, and Kavlin for the Oilers. I like what you had to say about Mike St. Jacques. Michel, but, you know, Mike, now that we're here in the middle of Oklahoma.
Well, he said, I'm an American, I'm Mike. He's having a lot of fun.
Lakovic puts it into the Blazer zone for the first time tonight. No, along the near boards with it.
Of course, when you're a rookie and you're scored 45 goals, you have a blast.
You can do whatever. The first shot of the game taken by Dave Moore. Perry makes the stop out in front, and the Oilers bring it back up over the blue line to some neutral ice. Bostad picks it off there for the Oilers. Tries to leave it for no, can't do it. Burton now, and we're back at center ice. Craig Cox back for the Oilers now, controlled for a while there. He's made with just 4 games. We're working down in San Antonio. Doing some construction before coming back. I'm thinking that, you know, hockey's probably a better job than that, Ed.
Well, it didn't take him long to get back into the flow of things. He already has a goal, 3 points in his 4 games. So he looks like he's not that far from being in his regular hockey shape.
Oilers setting it up in their own end. Pass by Beausoleil, too far for Cox. Back down, and we'll whistle. We'll touch up, and an icing will be called, and we'll face it off back down in the Oiler end.
One player you will not see on the ice tonight, and that's a big blow for Tulsa faithful, is leading scorer, goal scoring, leading point scorer, Taylor Hall. And you saw Taylor right before the game, or saw what's left of him there.
I heard of City Hall. I went in and I said, hey, can I talk to Taylor, who's the assistant coach on this team? And they said, well, you'll have to go to the bus and you'll probably have to knock. He is out with the flu and has not gotten off the bus. He is there and asleep. And Gary Unger not feeling as well with a touch of the flu also.
And you see there Kavlin, the reason Tony Martino not in the net, simply told you before the game, I'm not playing very well.
A little lack of confidence. I think both the Oiler goaltenders have suffered with that some, but tonight Tony says he's going to get the night off and Kavlin's going to take over. Kavlin with the save makes another. Couvrette, the former Oiler, takes a draw, gets it right out in front of the net, and got 2 great shots on goal, but Kavlin was there to stop both of them early.
Couvrette wasn't able to get a whole lot on it. The puck was just kind of laying there, and I think it was over-anticipated a little bit. It's a little slow getting over to it, but it was right out. Kavlin had a nice look at it. There you see his record briefly, but Couvrette, ironically enough, had a game winner on Christmas Day against the Blazers. So Couvrette, who's skating for Oklahoma City tonight, has actually cost the Blazers 2 points this year.
And now the Oilers let him go, and you know those coaches are smart. So suddenly Couvrette in the starting lineup for tonight's first shift against the Oilers.
Well, he was off to an all-star start. He was really putting up the numbers for Tulsa. They went into a pretty bad slump and finally released by Tulsa.
Face off to the right of Kavlin, again controlled by Oklahoma City, back behind the net now, where they scurry along the boards.
There's a familiar
Lawrence and
name.
St. Jacques getting into it. Those two haven't met up yet, but I'm sure at some point in the evening they'll say hello. Kavlin gets a carom off the rear boards and decides to hold on to it, and we'll have another face-off. And, well, there's Doug introducing himself, and he's back from his travels to Nashville and Atlanta and wants to get it out of the way early.
And that's Doug Lawrence's style. They'll start talking to you, as you see in the penalty box, Mike Sanderson, as the Blazers are on the power play. I was in talking so much about Kavlin, I missed the penalty there, but 1:39 left in the power play for the Blazers, and that's why Oklahoma City able to get some pressure on Tulsa here early in the first period. Doug Lawrence will like to talk. Keep an eye, though, on number 25 in a Blazer uniform, George DuPont. He'll do kind of the same thing. It'll be interesting to see if Lawrence and DuPont ever square up against each other and, you know, exchange pleasantries.
Face off again. Mike Berger takes it, and he just knocked it down to the other end, and wisely it was Kevin Meisner just kind of ducking out of the way of that one, more than happy to let it go down. Back up now over the blue line. It's Gomes carrying it in. He's held up there by Berger, his opposite number. Back out to the point now. Simone skates in. He lets it go. Kavlin makes the stop. A shot there in front by Burton. He can't get it, and the Oilers clear.
Burton and Lawrence just now getting up off the ice. The big cheer you hear is Doug Lawrence is still down on the ice. And the Blazer fans, they remember Doug Lawrence, and he may have a little blood trickling out of his lip there, but he's going to get right back in it.
Well, and now that time Harrison raises his hand, our referee, Chuck Harrison, who got a rousing ovation when he came on. And we're going to have another Oiler penalty.
Great stop.
Kavlin makes the save, and Gomes tried to put it in, and he makes another one. We will have a stoppage of play and another penalty on the Oilers, and we will skate 5-on-3 when we return here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. Of Oklahoma Network, John Walls with you, Ed Murray with the color, and Bill Teagan's our host this evening. The Oklahoma City Blazers about to go on a 5-on-3 power play, 16:50 left in the period, no score, but the Blazers with a golden opportunity here.
Blazers one of the top power play teams. Tulsa is the best penalty killer. It's in.
Oh my goodness, George DuPont skated in, tried the centering pass, no luck there, but the puck slid right over onto another stick, and Kavlin out of position, watches it, goes in. Joe Burton now with his 54th goal of the season. He already leads the league in that category and now adds one more to it.
Here you see it again. DuPont skating in from the wing, gets behind the defenseman, puts it right out in front. It looks like it gets kicked around a little bit. Tulsa control momentarily. It's St. Jacques, I believe. St. Jacques was right there in front. We may need another look at that one, but St. Jacques and Burton are right there in front. Looked like one of the Tulsa defenders actually had it for a moment and passed it to the wrong colored uniform. And we're going to have to wait and see what the scoring. Here we go.
At 3:23, the goal by number 16.
It is. Well, we're both wrong. Kevin Meisner with the goal.
That's a good way to endear yourself to the crowd, though, after you've only been here for a few days. Score the first goal.
And that is his first goal of his Blazer career.
And again, Gomes rushing in this time, tries to leave it for Burton, can't handle it. Back out to the point, though, where Slifka takes it, slides it over to Meisner. The shot no good. No plays it around the boards.
And the Blazers still on the power play on the Lawrence penalty.
Sanderson is out, but Doug Lawrence, who seems to keep checking himself like he's lost a tooth or something. And he seems to think that he might have gotten the bad end of that one from watching Doug down there in the penalty box.
Doug adding to his all-time Oiler record for time spent in the penalty box. He's now up to 410 in his career.
Well, you get a lot of rest that way, Ed.
Yeah, boy, he's a great player, though.
Down into the left wing corner, it's Gomes working it along with Bostad. Beausoleil gets it and fires it down the length of the ice. Perry will stop it, no icing, because they are on the power play for another 45 seconds, and the Oilers will switch up here while the puck's in the other end. Back across, and it is Michel Couvrette dumping it in behind. Simone will take it in the right wing corner of the Oilers zone. Berger will chase it down, and you can bet that this one will make it over the blue line. 1-0 our score. 15-10 left in the first period. The goal by Kevin Meisner, his first as a Blazer, and it is 1-0.
And they're still trying to figure out who assisted on it, because it was a mess out there in middle go. It's 2-on-1, but offside.
St. Jacques skating in, but not what he wanted. That is a partner in crime across the blue line too soon.
This is a very important goal, I think, for the Blazers. Their power play has been very weak lately. 7 games ago, Tom Thornberry, the player coach, on the point, injured. He's out. Ignatchev, the other point, other defenseman, called up the IHL. And since then, the Blazer power play has been anemic. 3 of their last 26. Yet on their first opportunity tonight, they get the goal. And it's Joe Burton, who ironically has either scored 2 goals against Tulsa or none every game this year. 3 games with 2 goals, 3 games with 0.
Face-off inside the Blazer zone. It's picked up there by Gorman, who fires it in. Back behind the net, Krasnick tries to get it. Gorman can hold it in. Back to Perry.
Full strength, both sides.
Chris Laganis has it at center ice. Poke checked away there, and the Oilers will, the Blazers will regroup. Doug Lawrence back out of the penalty box and wreaking havoc again already.
He's rested.
Tom Fry, who I think is about the biggest man I've ever seen on skates. When he wants to carry the puck over the blue line, he can. 3 Oilers taking a shot at him, and he still handled it down there and has the puck right now. Lawrence takes the errant pass, though, and he'll bring it over the blue line, over to center ice. Oilers 4-on-3. Now 3-on-4. Left for Beausoleil. Shot save made. Centering pass across. No good there for Chris Robertson. Bostad with a shot now. The defenseman from the left point. No good. And it will be Fry clearing the zone. Bostad goes back to get it for the Blue Sweaters.
Icing will be called.
Icing called. We have a stoppage of play. No, they did not. They waved off the icing there, Ed, and Kavlin gets peppered. Bostad tries to get rid of it. Robertson now with control there in the left corner. He'll bring it back behind the net and straight up the middle of the ice.
They didn't make it to the goal line. It was going to be icing, but the puck stopped.
All the way in, Robertson makes the shot. Perry the save. No, the rebound, and Perry again stops it, and this time we will have a stoppage of play, and we'll take another timeout here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
During the Dodge National.
Back on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network, 1-0. The Blazers lead it here midway through the first period. Another stoppage of play. Ed, I think that's a good time we can take a look at the goal. There was some question as to who had the assist, but the scoring people have sorted that one out, and you can take care of that.
Well, Kevin Meisner getting the goal, his first as a Blazer. The assist going to Joe Burton, his 36th of the year, and George DuPont, his 72nd, which is tops on the team, also tops in the Central Hockey League, and he now has 96 points, which also now leads the Central Hockey League this season.
Face off to the left hand of Alan Perry. It's pushed around there where it's taken out of the zone by DuPont. Bostad takes it at neutral ice, and they're just kind of ad-libbing here for the moment. Nice hit there by Gomes. He took Mr. O'Rourke, the rookie, and put him on his backside. And now Bostad makes a reach for it, can't get it. Dave Moore will skate back with it behind the net and try to set something up for the Oilers. Back the other way now. Tried to get it ahead to Clouston, missed off the boards, and this time, Ed, the arms go up, and we will have icing, and we will also have a penalty. Harrison, and again on the Oilers, who came in as the least penalized team in the Central Hockey League, they will send another one off, but at this point, Perry's come off because the Oklahoma City Blazers haven't allowed Tulsa to touch it up.
The Blazers, as long as they maintain control, they will have a sort of a power play type opportunity, an advantage on this delayed penalty. That's why icing waved off. But now Tulsa touches it, and we'll have the penalty. And now another, we may have another, as we've got a couple of guys going at it.
Cox skating in late and hitting Steve Simone. And now Cox, who's also just back in the CHL, he's only played 4 games for Tulsa, and already he's into the fray.
He hasn't forgotten how to drop him, hasn't he?
Lakovic and DuPont do a little dance. And I believe you're right, Ed. They're going to take Mr. Cox off. And I think, though, in this case, he will take Simone with him. So instead of 5-on-3.
Now, here's George DuPont getting in a few words with Cox as he's going by. And that's created another little brouhaha. And that just like Doug Lawrence will do for Tulsa. That's what George DuPont will do for the Blazers. Kind of an agitator, if you would. He kind of go in there, keep the blood pumping, maybe get another Oiler in the penalty box. You never know.
Dave Moore going off with the original penalty for the Oilers. Steve Simone and Cox as well. I think it shows what you said in the open there, that there is some playoff intensity here added to the already short distance between the two cities.
No doubt. It's such a critical game for Oklahoma City. There are 2 games already played over what Tulsa has played, over what San Antonio has played. Every point so critical, only 6 games left after tonight. Tulsa has 4 points that you could pick up just by winning a couple.
Yeah, the Oilers with 2 games in hand, and it's important too, I think, at this point, because not only has fourth not been determined, the 4 seeds, but 4, 3, and 2, all those places up for grabs, and you need to try to get into that second place spot, because I don't think you want to face Wichita or San Antonio.
Both these teams could get some help tonight. Fort Worth is hosting league-leading Wichita, so if Wichita could win, as they should, then the loser here is not going to lose any ground, if you would, to Fort Worth.
And there's also that all-important game down there with Memphis and Dallas.
Wow, do we have an update on that one? Not yet. We'll keep you advised on that one.
Well, with 2 Oilers in the box and 1 Blazer, it will be a power play again for Oklahoma City. Alan Perry early on here hasn't had a whole lot of work.
Alan, of course, called up by Houston to the IHL. We're going to have a feature on that between the second and third period. There you see his numbers, leading the league at 90% saves. His average against .344 is also tops in the league. However, since returning from Houston, his average went from .311 up to .344, which tells you he's gotten shelled a couple of times since coming back. On February 22nd, I believe, is when it was. He came back, but he's coming off an outstanding performance Sunday against San Antonio. 37 of 38 he stopped, and he's awesome at home for the year. Perry at home, 2.36 goals against average.
Face off to the blockers, the glove side of Mark Kavlin. Oklahoma City controlled. Now it's behind the net. Slino, fans trying to get it out of the zone, and this time he gets it saved and kept in by Meisner, who had the first goal. Around is DuPont. He centers it to the point. Meisner again skates in off the skate of Krasnick, but still Oklahoma City with control of the puck. Across to Burton. He has a point-blank shot. Kavlin has the angle and has it covered. Oklahoma City back over to Meisner. Inside now to Burton. Right in front. Off of nose skate. Kavlin makes the save. Nicely done there. Clouston going to try and chase it over. Meisner gets it. Skates in. And that one missed. Boy, Dave Slifka really let it fly, but it was wide of the mark.
Here's where the Blazers usually would have Ignatjeff and Thornberry. Slifka in there has got a pretty decent slap shot, as he just displayed there, trying to get it tied up behind the net. At the other point is Meisner, and that's showing a lot of confidence in the young rookie just out of college. Mike McEwen sticking him on the point, saying, make something happen for me out there.
And when you score a goal, well, you know, you earn a little of that confidence. Slifka lets it fly. Kavlin kicks it off the glass.
Kavlin getting good looks at these slap shots. See if Slifka tries it again.
The Oilers unable to get any pressure, though, on the box that the Oilers, that the Blazers have set up. Again, held in. DuPont near boards. He'll hold on to it. Well, no, might as well. If you're going to leave me open, I might as well take the shot. And Kavlin makes the save and then sprawls out to cover up. And the fans who are getting into it now applauding the team's efforts, because they certainly dominated for about a minute and a half there. And Kavlin played pretty well, but as you said, was able to get pretty good looks at the puck every time it came at him.
The only goal he gave up, really, and I still, even looking at the replay, I'm not quite sure how that thing went in there. We'll have another look at it, I'm sure, before the evening's over. But he is getting the good looks. They are working him pretty good, though. Kavlin hadn't gone to the water bottle, I don't think, but he's breathing pretty good. Tony Martino's probably sitting over there on the bench saying, this might have been a good night to sit one out. They are really putting some pressure on Kavlin tonight. But, again, except for kind of the fluky thing there on the power play, he's been up to the challenge so far.
He has, and now they'll have a face-off to his glove side again. Michel Couvret and Chris Robertson, excuse me, will face it off. Couvret controls, back out to Geekie.
First time we've mentioned his name tonight, Craig Geekie, another call up from the university ranks.
I'm not sure if I had the name, you know, Geekie, I'd want it called a lot. Now behind the net, Couvret with some room to work. And it was Gorman skating in with the shot one time that didn't get all of it, and Kavlin made a fairly easy save at that point.
Gorman is only connected on 1.4% of his shots this year. Kind of an indication right there.
The Oilers now back at full strength for about 6 seconds. Sasha Lakovic, he takes down Mike St. Jacques, and we have a penalty again on the Oilers.
I think it's going to be on Doug Lawrence again. He just wiped out Mike St. Jacques. Going to be called for a trip, I believe. Couvrette has had 2 outstanding opportunities right in front of Kavlin and hadn't connected yet. We'll be back with more on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. The Blazers leading the Oilers 1-0.
Here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network, John Walls, Ed Murray, Bill Teagans at the Myriad. As you can see, 9:56 left in the first period, and Sasha Lakovic indeed whistled for the offense for the Oilers, but as most good hockey players will do, one of the first rules is try to take another guy with you, and indeed he did. Mike St. Jacques in the bin for the Blazers.
Actually, it was Doug Lawrence on St. Jacques. Lawrence creamed him. Didn't get, it wasn't seen because the official was still looking at Lakovic. So St. Jacques tripped Lawrence after he was knocked down and off. What's it said? The official always sees the retaliation, and St. Jacques got caught that time.
They seem to always miss the first one. Lots of open ice. Luc Beausoleil skates in, brings Perry out of the net, gets one off, and it's off the side of the net. And now it is the Blazers controlling it. Chris Laganis gets it over on the far side. Kind of a weak attempt there by Ken Venus. Did not get a good shot. Kavlin easily covers up the puck there.
And again, Kavlin with another good look at it. I know you've been waiting with bated breath. Memphis and Dallas hasn't started yet.
And if we're lucky, perhaps they won't.
Wichita and Fort Worth are still scoreless. There is still time left in the first period. Although that note's not real clear, but I say they are in the first period still.
This time the face-off to the right of Kavlin. Dan O'Rourke controls it, and he'll come out. Lots of open ice, 4-on-4, Ed.
Lots of open ice. Tulsa, this is not really a shorthanded situation, but they lead the league in shorthanded goals, and you're kind of in the same thing with only 4 guys on the ice. So Tulsa will try to stay in that offensive mode if they can.
Chris Laganis gets off a shot. It goes wide of the net. Oilers back up with it. O'Rourke at center ice. It's O'Rourke, Beausoleil, Prasnik, and I can see the number Mike Sanderson working for the Oilers. Couvrette, Simone, Geekie, and Slifik. Same difference.
And he's from Illinois. It's not like he's from Canada. By the way, I know the folks at Tom Thornberry have tuned in on the satellite up in Canada. I want to wish everyone up there who's picking up this feed pleasant good evening, and hope you enjoy the hockey here tonight. Central Hockey League, it's exciting brand for us.
Kavlin went back behind the net to hold up that puck and get it to one of his guys, and he turned around, and lo and behold, there was Steve Simone, and he realized that was trouble, and he luckily got it back to a blue shirt. Doug Lawrence now skating over center ice.
You know when Doug touches it, the crowd lets you know. We don't even have to say anything.
Doug throwing the proverbial air ball for a check there. 1-0 the score. 8 minutes left in the first period. The Blazers leading the Oilers. Colin Bostad picks it up, and both the matching minors now are over, so both teams back at full strength. Sasha Lakovic out of the penalty box. He will stay on the ice. St. Jacques skated off. Lakovic gets it to the left of Perry, but can't control the puck. He's tied up there in the corner. Lawrence tries to feed Robertson, no good. Bostad stops it, but he was out of the zone, so the Oilers are going to have to pull it out, regroup, and try to carry it back in. Lakovic does just that. Bostad, an easy shot, left it open, and then Lakovic missed a wide open net. Wide open.
He'll be thinking of that one in the intermission. Wow. Wide open. The puck just came right off Perry's. Look at Perry. He knows. He's going, I got lucky that one that time. It just hit his stick and just died right in front of the net. Looked like a defenseman for the Blazers. Goodness, you're not going to see it any more wide open than that on Mr. Perry this evening.
He's wearing a mask, but it doesn't take much to realize what he was thinking there.
Oh, you got that right.
They'll face it off now to the blocker side of Alan Perry. Cox in the face-off circle along with Ken Venus.
And if you're wondering, that is also the same Ken Venice from last year. He's just kind of changed pronunciation of his name.
Well, ever since Tony Dorsett did that, I think it became popular and it was okay to do that.
I think Tulsa's doing a good job right here, John, of getting some pressure on Perry, not letting that kind of, again, kind of a fluky goal there on a power play upset them. In their last 8 losses, they have surrendered the first goal of the game. So you start maybe thinking of that when you're in a little bit of a slump. But they're playing through it right now.
Certainly the last 6 or 7 minutes of this period, they've played better. The first 7 all Oklahoma City. So the Oilers controlling. Luc Beausoleil leaves it there for Prasnik. He skates in, tries to center it, can't connect with Beausoleil.
Good rush that time, though.
Very nice. Tom Fry skates in alone. Can't quite get enough on it. O'Rourke kind of tied him up there, and Kavlin now will hold on to it, and he'll go for the face-off.
That's a good job that time, I think, by Sylvain No. Riding Laganis. Laganis was trying to get that loose puck out of the stick of Kavlin, but No came back and kind of rode Laganis off of it a little bit. Fry making that rush there. You talked about his size earlier, 254 pounds. He, a lot like Cox, he was out of hockey last year. And Mike McEwen said, give him 6 to 8 weeks to get into shape, and he's going to be a factor. So in the early going, he was just kind of throwing that weight around, kind of the team's enforcer. But lately, Fry has been hot. He has 9 points in the last 10 games and has really turned up his offense now that he has reached that hockey playing shape.
And when you're bigger than the sun, you can throw your weight around till you get in shape.
Anytime you want.
Sean Gorman with the shot. DuPont controls behind the net, skates around, tries for the wraparound, but can't control. Burton now picks up the loose puck. St. Jacques, no luck. He goes down. No tries to hold off DuPont, but he'll get it out to Burton again. Plays it back behind the net where Bostad controls. And he'll send it across rink to Luc Beausoleil. Cox now will carry it in, and there's a big fella, and he lumbers. Here's another one that's tough to take off the puck. Burton now with a rush. Bostad mans him. Kavlin an easy save on the shot there. Bostad controls. Bostad, one of the 2 Oilers to play in every Oiler game this season. They have, as usual, been beset by illness and sickness and injury. And in this game, it's tough to play a full season the way you get banged around. It's a physical game. It's a violent game. And to play all 58 games for the Oilers, that says something. Doug Lawrence controls now in the Blazer end.
I was just checking. I think only one. I think Joe Burton is the only Blazer to play in all games this year. Derry Menard had, but he is injured tonight and will not skate. Sure enough, Joe Burton is the only Blazer to play this entire season.
We must have cursed Menard before he ever got out of bed today when we merely thought of that.
Well, he injured his sternum and has been put on the injured reserve list. By the way, Berger for Tulsa, a strained back. It is a question mark whether he will return. Oilers already skating without Taylor Hall tonight, so we talk about injuries, and they continue to mount for both these teams.
So they were down now to 4 defensemen. That means more time for Dave Moore, Jody Prasnik, Colin Bostad, and Bill Campbell.
And I'm sure Lawrence will come back here and play some defense if he has to.
If he has to. Berger, usually the problem with Mike is he's got a bad knee, but tonight the back acting up on him. Tony Martino as well has a bad back, but tonight, as we said, he's out of the lineup because he just needs a little confidence boost and take a day off, and maybe some of the rest will help him.
Berger has scored 3 goals against Oklahoma City this year, including our last telecast when he just ripped 3 from the point and finally got it to go in as Kavlin makes another stop. But again, the uncontested shot out in front.
That's right. And, you know, Mike Berger, Alan Perry, teammates for the Oakland Skates. We'll be back here at the Myriad with the score 1-0 Oklahoma City. You're listening to the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. A whole lot of chicken. We are back on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. 1-0 the score. The Blazers leading the Oilers here as the first period winds down. Luc Beausoleil carries it in for the Oilers. The Oilers been able to get it in the zone here, Ed, but not much work once they get in there. They haven't been able to set anything up.
They really haven't. They missed a couple of wide open chances, but the defense for Oklahoma City doing a pretty good job of right there. You see a good case riding one of the Oilers right off the puck, but rode him a little too much, perhaps a little illegally, as Chuck Harrison's going to call a penalty.
Perhaps a little too much, but you know, in this series, this season, shorthanded has not been a big factor for Oklahoma City. They have managed to take care of the Oilers pretty well when the Oilers had the man advantage.
Well, you're talking a success rate for a team that's up around 24% for the season against Oklahoma City. .081, 3 of 37 on the power play against Oklahoma City this season.
You figure if you just fire it in there once in a while, you know, something's got to find the back of the net.
First power play opportunity, though, tonight for Tulsa.
Sanderson wins the draw. Bostad controls it in the left wing corner. Back out to the point. Robertson over to Campbell. Never got that set up, and Oklahoma City clears the board. Mark Kavlin leaves it for Robertson, who decides better of it and lets Bostad have it. He's in over the blue line.
Penalty you don't get that often. Holding the stick. And that means holding the other guy's stick.
Yeah, I would think that it's otherwise we'd have major offense. Oilers in close. Robertson doing some work there by Perry, but never got a shot off. Tied up now. Campbell in. Perry makes the save. Rebound goes wide. And we will have a penalty on the Oilers. It was Tom Gomes who had control of the puck and was trying to get it out of the zone, and well, Luc Beausoleil just decided he was going to let him go. So he did, in that case, had holding with his stick.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Got a big old hook in there and decided that he wasn't going to let the fella go.
We've seen holding about every way you can do it tonight so far. And that's one reason why against the Blazers, Tulsa's power play is so anemic. They only got 52 seconds of it before they go to even sides again. Or, you know, short each man, but even strength, if you will.
I'm not sure I want to do the math of it, but I'm sure 3 of 38 isn't much better than 3 of 37 when you figure out the percentages. So we will skate even strength 4-on-4 for another minute, and then Oklahoma City will have a power play. Ed, you are excused. Ed Murray out of the chair. He's going to go down and grab Mike McEwen after the first period. Jody Pasnick takes the shot. Wide and high. It's off the glass, where it's controlled there by Chris Laganis. Oh my, skates in, lets the drive go. Prasnik falls in front of it. It goes high and wide. And look at Laganis still with the control. Shoots it wide again, but there's only one Oklahoma City Blazer down there, and he's doing all the work with the 3 Oiler guys, and for good measure he gets a check in there. Captain Sean Clouston has control of it, tries to get it to O'Rourke. No luck, so he'll just pick it up again over the blue line ahead to Sasha Lakovic, who skates in. And the Oilers will take their time, and they shouldn't have, because it's already out of the zone. And now Bill Campbell throws it back in, but Oklahoma City has control of it. Craig Geeky now takes it in. And Lakovic giving the business to his old teammate, Michel Couvret. Puck gets loose. Mark Kavlin sees it, picks it up, and says, I will do that. You're watching on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. Back in the Spirit of Oklahoma Network, Doug Lawrence fires it out of his own end. Alan Perry holds on to it. Steve Simone behind the net. 1 minute in the period. Both teams now back at full strength. Beausoleil out of the box, and we have an offsides call by one of our linesmen. The linesmen tonight in this game, Jim Stutzman and Bob Wedleg for tonight's game. 56 seconds remain in the first period. It's the Blazers 1 and the Oilers 0. If this should hold, that is good news for Oklahoma City. They are 21-0-3 when leading after the first period. We want you to stick around and watch the second and third period, but that tells you right there that there's a pretty good chance that the guys in the black shorts have an advantage as they go to the locker room here after the first 20 minutes. We'll have a face-off out by the blue line. Cox and Tom Gomes. And squared up. There's the puck drop. Oklahoma City controls. Over to Dave Slifka. To center ice. Dan O'Rourke tried to get it in. No luck. Gomes in over. He's tied up there by O'Rourke. Nice forecheck by Gomes. As long as he's got him down there, he'll hold on to him. Puck comes down to the near boards in the corner. Cox takes control, gets it out, but it goes right to Slifka, who'll hold and get it to Laganis, who will carry it in, and then let one fly wide Mark Cavlin and Beausoleil make sure that the puck gets out of the Oilers zone with 23 seconds left in the first period. Alan Perry behind his own net. Leaves it for Craig Geekie. Setting up with 10 seconds left in the period. And I think we are not going to see much action. He might as well just skate off. They'll just run out the time of the first period, and that's the score at the end of one. The Blazers won, the Oilers nothing, just one goal, and it was by newcomer Kevin Meisner for Oklahoma City. His very first as a Blazer. He was signed March 1st, the last day that you could sign players to contracts here in the Central Hockey League and have them be eligible for the playoff roster. So Meisner comes in and scores. That's a good thing for him. A good thing for Oklahoma City because their defensemen have not played well and have not got a lot of offensive production since their two top guys, Victor Ignatiev and Tom Thornberry, had to leave. At the end of one, it's Blazers 1, Oilers nothing. As I said, 21-0-3 Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City when leading after one period. Now let's go to my sidekick, Ed Murray, who has gotten down Iceway and has Blazers coach Mike McEwen. Ed?
Thank you very much, John. Joining me is Blazer coach Mike McEwen. Coach, you're up 1-0. Your impressions of the first period?
Well, I thought we came out. We played very well. We were on top of the puck. I thought we were first on the puck, especially in our end. Seemed to be having a little trouble standing up at our blue line. They're coming through the neutral zone with no speed, and we're not standing up at the blue line the way we can. But overall, an excellent effort.
You lost Thornberry and Ignatiev. Nice to see Meisner, the new kid, score there from on the power play.
Well, Kevin Meisner, this is his 4th game here, and he's played very well for us. I thought in the last game against San Antonio, he might have been our best player, and he's a great addition to the team.
Thanks for joining us, Mike. Good luck the rest of the game. Coach Mike McEwen, his Blazers leading Tulsa 1-0 at the end of the first period. Bill?
We're ready for a great second period, fellas. I found out one thing. Use your microphone. People can hear you a lot better. Have a good second period.
Well, we're lucky. Ours are connected to our heads here with these headphones and things. Yes. I want to make one correction. Can I make one correction?
Sure.
I hate to shortchange a guy. They found another assist for George DuPont before we came on the air. So instead of 72, he has 73.
But who's counting? Obviously
he is.
Absolutely. 30 seconds now before the start of the second period. It's also Mark Cavlin in the nets. Alan Perry, his opposite, down on the other end. Alan Perry played pretty well. You said, you know, Ed, that at some point he had been blistered in a few games, but he was strong today. Even though it was only 8 shots, that can be tough sometimes to be down there, be lonely, be that Maytag repairman goalie, and still be up to the challenge when it comes down your way.
And he got help from one of his 2 best friends. The best friend, of course, the pipes. The second best friend, the whiff on the open net. So he has had some help in that department. Things can change so quickly, though. Remember the last meeting between these two? It was a tie game, 3rd period. Tulsa scored 3 goals in 3 minutes. So hang on. We're ready for another period of hockey.
It doesn't take long. Sasha Lakovic, Sean Clouston, Dan O'Rourke out as the opening line, it appears, for the Tulsa Oilers. Tom Gomes along with George DuPont and Sean Gorman starting here the second period for the Oilers, or excuse me, the Blazers.
We have a little delay, some rough ice behind the Tulsa net, and one of the linesmen is getting it cleaned up. Not sure we mentioned the linesmen tonight. Bob Wedlake and Jim Stutzman. You might have missed it, but Chuck Harrison, we all know, is the referee. Has had a few run-ins with Coach Mike McEwen over the season, and Blazer fans quite aware of that.
Oh, and a lot of people, you know, he's not welcomed up in Tulsa very well. And if you notice this year, the referees no longer have their names on the back of their shirts. And Harrison had a mustache last year and shaved it off, and he skated into Tulsa the first time, and you know what? It didn't matter. No disguise. He walked in, he had the orange on the sleeves, and people knew to boo him right away.
We might see a referee faint if he ever took the ice and the crowd gave him a standing ovation. What do you think?
Oh, probably. We are ready, and the Oilers control the face-off here. Dave Moore takes it up through the neutral zone. Over the blue line. Back out to center ice where the Blazers have it. Mark Cavlin stopped it. That was out of the zone and then back in too quick for any of the Blazers to get back behind the blue line, so they'll have offsides and another face-off.
Part of the crowd here, a slow arriving crowd. The time change for your behalf out there. A 7 o'clock start for television, and a lot of the crowd a little slow arriving, a little cold outside, but they're here now, and kind of sitting around and see what's going to happen here early in the second period. Right now, someone needs to go get the puck.
Monty Miron mentioned 1.3 million fans so far. They're hoping for 1.4, and a large part of it all come out of this building, Ed.
Well, over the next 3 home games, the team is expecting their 1 millionth fan sometime over the next, well, obviously didn't happen tonight, but over the next 2 home games, expecting the 1 millionth fan that could come in the regular season finale right here against Tulsa. You don't think that'll have everybody charged up?
Somehow you figure it'll end up working out that way then. They may hold the turnstile.
Shut one of them down.
Until it happens. Joe Burton skates in, takes a shot, hit a player out front. I believe it was his own man, because as Tom Gomes comes to the side, he does not look happy. He looks sore. Bill Campbell, boy, he just tried to, he looked like he was just hitting a little wedge shot there from the point, and that probably, if Alan Perry wouldn't have gloved it, would have checked up nicely, and he'd had about a 6-footer for birdie.
Well, Sean Gorman reacted just like he did when I played golf with him in the Blazers summer outing. He ducked. He saw the shot coming and ducked.
And he was behind you.
That's right. I mean, he was ducking every time I swung it, but kind of a lazy shot, and Gorman just kind of flinched. Perry doing a nice job keeping his eye on the puck, as they like to say, and making the glove save.
You're supposed to do that. Craig Cox can't control the face-off. Michel Couvret does. Still now into the Blazer zone. Perry leaving it for Slivka.
By the way, Gorman will get mad at me if I don't mention that he holed his 3rd shot on the par 5 16th hole.
The double eagle? No, the eagle.
Just the eagle, but considering the way he had been playing, it was a thing of beauty.
And what'd you make on the 5, Ed?
I picked up when he holed it. He was on my team.
Oh, there you go. Oilers have it under control behind the Blazer net. Sylvan No. Slino gets around. Cox then sends it behind the net, where it's picked up there by, excuse me, Mike St. Jacques. Trouble along the near boards, comes out to Cox, who tees it up, lets it go out front, hits a Blazer player. Cox has got it again, tries to scoot it forward to No, and now it's going to pop out of the Oilers zone, and they'll regroup.
A lot of action between the blue lines, not much inside them so far.
No carries it down in the left wing corner, skates behind the net. His old teammate Couvret there to slow him up some, but there's Cox lumbering and lurking, gets it back out to Bill Campbell. No now behind the net again, centers it right in front of Perry, and he decides that he needs to get rid of that and sweeps it away, and Cox again comes up with the puck. Turns and fires, hits the stick of Couvret, and it's St. Jacques with control now, coming in over the blue line on the left side. Thought about taking the shot, then decided to skate in, tried to leave it there for Steve Simoni, no luck.
You got a small look at the great speed of Mike St. Jacques. Again, should be Rookie of the Year.
But as you mentioned, Mark Kavlin also probably consideration T2 in his rookie season in Tulsa.
And another Oiler having a great rookie year is Bostad. So a lot of candidates on the ice for Rookie of the Year, but again, St. Jacques an all-time CHL rookie record with his 45 goals. And I believe he needs 1 more point to set the all-time Central Hockey League point record as well.
Blazers just dumped it in so that they could get a line change, but Chris Robertson picked up the loose puck and skated in and got a shot in on Alan Perry. But again, if you can see it, most of the time they don't have any trouble stopping it in this league. Dave Moore now skates in, gives the shot, and as you said, Ed, keep your eye on the puck. We will return after this on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. Oklahoma Network, 1-0 Blazers. They have the rush this time. They leave it there right out in front of Kavlin. The shot, the save made. And now we got a whole mess of blue shirts in there. It was Tom Fry trying to push it in. Home, Ken Venus down there as well, but no luck. Still 1-0. Kavlin again making the save in the absence of Tony Martino and playing well. And as you said, Ed, actually, he has much better, not much better, but better stats even than Tony Martino.
Well, there's Venus right there. You see Robertson and I think Bostad getting in there doing a good job. You see Venus is trying to get his stick on the puck, but Robertson and Bostad doing a really nice job getting it right in front of Kavlin. Kavlin had his body spread. He knew it was going to have to be a low shot that close, and he was not going to let that thing get in there.
Face off, won by Clouston. Bostad behind the net, tries to take it rink side to the far board. Clouston, the captain of the Oilers, picks it up. Bad pass there, stolen by Greg Geekie. Oh my goodness, right out in front for Joe Burton. He was not able to make it. Kavlin was able to clear the puck away, and Sasha Lakovic now picks it up the other way over the blue line, and he's going to try to get a shot. No luck there. Has to skate all the way behind the net, and now he's tied up along the near boards. Moore and Lakovic down there, as well as George DuPont. He seems to get a little glove there from Dave Moore.
They're still talking to each other. Now they get cleared out as Perry gets the puck around the boards to Burton. But Burton takes a good shot into the glass, losing his helmet.
Sasha Lakovic showing his new haircut there.
Lakovic's been kind of quiet in this game. Really haven't mentioned his name too much. 4 points last time Oklahoma City and Tulsa got together. There's another shot. Nice save again.
Most points of any Oiler this season against the Blazers. He has 10. Leads with 4 goals and 6 assists.
Tulsa,
and he controls now center ice and brings it in over the blue line.
Tulsa would like to see him score too. 12-0-1 when he puts one in the net.
Now I'm wondering if you have a stat over there on what the Blazers are when Meisner scores.
Yeah, they're 0-0 because he hadn't scored. But Alan Posta does a great job with the Blazers. He'll have some numbers that we'll throw out at you before the evening's out. Let's see if there's anything with Meisner. No points, they're 0-2. If he has 1 assist, they're 2-0. 1 point, they're 2-0. So when Meisner has 1 point in a game, the Blazers are 2-0.
Now into the Oilers zone.
Where does he come up with all that stuff?
That Alan Poston, I'm telling you, he's got it all, doesn't he? St. Jacques holds it till he gets everybody on side, then dumps it in. Kavlin behind the net. Krasnick's able to take it out of harm's way. Cox down there. Michelle Couvret. Simone comes out with it, skating along the near boards, drops it back down into the corner. Couvret and Cox get tangled again. Campbell picks up the free puck, sends it rink wide. Krasnick skates up to take it over the blue line. He'll dump it in.
Each goaltender's made a few stops here in the second period, but no real big scoring opportunity so far, and we're what, 7 minutes in.
Well, the race was on there. They weren't able to get the icing call. It would have benefited past the goal line, but Campbell still able to get it into one of his teammates' hands. It's Beausoleil, and he's over to Prastic again, and the Oiler assistant captain will leave it out front. Inside, Laganis had it right there close. Couldn't keep his stick on it very well, though, and doesn't get a shot off.
I think Laganis was expecting the shot from Fry, and it was waiting for the rebound as we have a whistle on the ice offside.
1-0 Blazers lead here on the Spirit Oklahoma Network.
Want to make a Consumer's Digest Best Buy? And
screened in yet. You see 11 saves tonight. That's not a whole lot of shots to face this deep into the second period. Some nights you can face 30 in a period.
You mentioned in the last broadcast when it was Mike Berger who took 3 shots in a row at him off the face-off, and Mike told me afterwards that he had played with him there in some roller hockey games as teammates, and every day in practice he tried to beat him at the glove side, and he was stubborn the other day, and then he finally just said, well, I'm going to beat him, so I went to the stick side, and then we had a little better luck. In front, the wraparound. Sasha again tries to come around the other way off the face-off. They're poking around. Clouston sticks up. Hands up by Harrison, no goal. Perry has the puck underneath him,
and he's taking a walk.
Skates it away.
He's taking a walk. Wow, what action in front of the net. Most of the crowd to their feet for Alan Perry. But I tell you what, that was a great scoring opportunity. Lakovic would not quit on the puck.
He tried to get it in the corner on both sides of the net, and both of them were closed. Alan Perry getting across the crease in good order.
Kind of a bad break. I think he had the corner on the second wraparound, but he hit the post with it. And by that time, the Blazer defense got over there to help out.
Rosted shot that time bounces off Sean Gorman and out of the zone. They'll regroup in the Oiler end.
Now we've mentioned Lakovic's name.
This time it's Burton skating in. He leaves it for Gomes, who shoots it wide. And it's Ballstead again. We've called his name a lot. He's been awfully busy doing the defensive work, and with Mike Berger still questionable, he's going to get a lot more work. Oh my goodness, O'Rourke shoots it right through the crease, and Alan Perry lets it go, and then there's a shot again. Now Burton comes up and he beats Mark Cavillon skating in on the left side all alone. He just gripped it and ripped it, and it gets by Mark Cavillon in a hurry, and now it is a 2-0 Blazer lead. 12:08 left in the second period. You're watching the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
When you buy your diamond engagement ring at B.C. Clark Jewelers, you receive our exclusive diamond protection plan, the B.C. Clark Promise. This promise...
Welcome back on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. John Anderson, Ed Murray, Bill Teagans, and a lot of happy Oklahoma City Blazer fans here at the Myriad. Joe Burton netting his 54th goal of the year to give the Blazers a 2-0 lead.
And the assist going to George DuPont, number 74, his 97th point of the year. And when we get the replay, I hope we can see Joe Burton. The shot came through the crease. Burton's a guy who cleared it. Leading goal scorer in the Central Ike League. He's back there, clears it out of the crease, then goes all the way down, gets the pass from DuPont. And I think we're going to see that when we get a moment to see the replay. But Joe Burton, we tried to give him a goal earlier in the game. He now has number 54.
Well, I'm not so sure he still doesn't have that one from earlier in the... I'm not convinced earlier in the contest. Michelle Couvret takes it from behind the net. Oilers keep it. Doug Lawrence trying to keep it outside. He gets a shot there from Mike St. Jacques, who feels like he might have a little unfinished business with Doug from what happened in the first period.
St. Jacques getting a penalty when Lawrence kind of pushed him, and St. Jacques got up and tripped Lawrence. So you're right, a little unfinished business. Here's one of those stats you like. Joe Burton scores 1 goal. The Blazers 39, 13, and 2.
All the numbers are adding up quickly to an Oklahoma City win, but a lot of time still here to play. An icing call. And I think now, Ed, we're going to go back to the replay, as you said. Joe Burton really doing a lot of the work. Sean Clouston there with the original shot.
Original shot. Now, there's a rebound out in front. And Joe Burton came over, got it out of there. And here's Burton on the breakaway from DuPont, and he just rips it by Cavillon. Cavillon, a good look. But Joe Burton hadn't scored 54 this year without having a great shot. And he just let that one fly.
He didn't leave him much room, but the puck's not very big. And as you said, you get 54 goals. You can put it where you want to.
And there's a stop by Alan Perry off the faceoff. And with Joe, yes, Cavillon had a good look, but Burton also had a clear shot at it. He had time to think where he wanted to put it, and he got it in his spot.
And Alan Perry on that last one, off the faceoff, Luc Beausoleil got a quick shot. He didn't have time to think, but, you know, sometimes you can get by in them reflexes. Again, the Oilers control the faceoff. Slino slides it to the crease, but Craig Cox unable to do anything with it. Chris Leganis takes it in. Picked up there by Sean Gorman. Now it's Cox, center ice, Beausoleil on his left. Can't get the pass through, but Beausoleil comes up with it after it bounces off, and Perry decides that that loose puck is not a good thing, and he will fall on it. No, and Bostad, both with chances, but again, couldn't get a solid piece of wood or aluminum on the puck.
That puck had to be going all of about 6 miles an hour. I think we got another look on the replay here. Let's take another look, because this is just great hustle by Joe Burton. I'm not sure we saw the correct one just a moment ago. There's O'Rourke. There, this is it. Goes through the crease. There is Joe Burton right there, clearing it out. Now he goes down the other end. We saw the wrong replay there a moment ago. That is what Joe Burton does. He gets it out. There's another shot attempt. DuPont will get it and then get it on up to Burton. So we backed it up a little bit more. That was all one sequence of plays, but Burton got it started on the defensive end.
And it all adds up to one pretty goal for Oklahoma City and a 2-0 lead. Cox has it taken away there by Meisner. Pass too far out of the reach for Chris Leganis, but still into the zone. Nobody offsides. Oilers control now. Slino will bring it up ice. Boy, and he gets a clear run right up until Geeky slows him up, but that was, he went end-to-end there before everybody quit watching him and decided that maybe they should hit him.
It's going to be interesting to see, I think, over the next 4 or 5 minutes as we have an icing call, I believe, again, to see how Tulsa responds here. In the earlier game we televised, Martino got the early lead, and he became unconscious making stops and saves. Alan Perry's a lot like that. He's got a 2-goal lead. He's thinking, he's got to be thinking now, this one's mine to win or lose now. If I stop, we win. And he and Martino are a lot alike in those. You give him a lead, they become tougher and tougher and tougher. And again at home, Perry's goals against average, a sparkling 2.36.
And unfortunately, they don't give you the .36, so he needs 2 or 3, and the way it has gone right now. And again, Tulsa has had very few good shots on Alan Perry, and yet when it came time to make the tough ones, he was there, he was focused, and he was ready. We have a face-off now to the stick side of Mark Kaplan, the Oiler goalie. Gomes along the near boards with 3 Oilers. Comes out to O'Rourke. He skates in, takes the shot, gets wide past Perry. Can you do the splits like that, Ed?
Are you kidding me? Maybe back when I was 6 years old or something.
Sasha centering past to O'Rourke, and it goes, Perry gets the puck, and O'Rourke gets the post. Ouch.
Another opportunity for Tulsa as they're out in front there. I found some numbers that the Tulsa fans might like, though. We talk about still plenty of time. Talk about Alan Perry maybe gaining more and more confidence. When Tulsa allows less than 3 goals, 16-2. So if they can hold it down and get some, you see O'Rourke kissing the post, Perry kissing the puck. But again, Tulsa in that mental frame of mind knows that, hey, we don't lose many of these when the other team only scores 2, but we need to make some stops and get something in the net ourselves.
Some of the fans on hand here at the Myriad tonight.
Hey, have we heard from that Dallas-Memphis clash yet?
Actually, we haven't. You know, in the other 2 games in the CHL tonight, nothing's been decided. Fort Worth, and somewhere in that pileup, it is Tom Gomes has come up with a penalty. So after Perry had made the stop, there's some holding, and he gets a little too much jersey, and now the Oilers are on the power play, and they have not been much of a threat in the 9 games they have played thus far against Oklahoma City. As Ed mentioned, .8 on the power play. You have to work at being bad for .8.
Actually, I think it's probably .79 now, because 0 for 1 so far this evening.
And now Slino goes down.
Because of the power play, you're going to keep me in suspense to that mighty Dallas-Memphis.
That is exactly right. Perry close, can't get it. Beausoleil backhand, no good. No off the post. Perry again helped with his friends. Back out to the point. Bill Campbell has it there. Beausoleil at the near board. Right there to Robertson, who one-times it, but Perry is there.
And you see it, DuPont, leading assist man. He's killing the penalty along with the new kid, Meisner. So Coach McEwen going to some guys that got a lot of confidence to kill this penalty. Lagana's always out there killing penalties for the Blazers.
Dave Moore, the 3rd highest scoring defenseman in the Central Hockey League, gets it into the Blazer zone. Craig Cox takes it in the far corner. Back out to Moore. He flips it in, and Perry again gloves it and then decides not to hold on to it. And the puck is free. Joe Burton slides in. He gets it, and Kaplan comes up big, and the rebound shot goes over the net. Ken Venus can't come up with the rebound shot, sends it high, and what a sequence that was. Alan Perry, who hasn't scored this year, was looking to get himself an assist there, Ed.
He's a leading assist goaltender in the CHL history, and he was looking for another there. Burton knew where it was going. He knew what Perry was going to do, and that's what working together for 3 years can do for you.
He almost looked in basketball terms like he was out there cherry picking, and off he went with it. Still on the power play. Doug Lawrence now skates in, decides nothing. Bill Campbell back to Lawrence.
Here's who you want to have the puck in this situation.
It's poke checked away there, but he's able to hold it in. But now he's got trouble because Laganis can get it, and indeed they do. They push it out of the zone. The Oilers are going to have to reset themselves, and at that time the Oilers are no longer on the power play, so now make it 3 for 39, and they send it rink wide. Kaplan takes control and sends it over to Bostad.
Not only were you unsuccessful in the power play, came very close to giving up a short-handed goal in the situation. As one of the new guys, Venus, was down there following on Burton. So Blazers are meshing quite well here in the last 3-4 minutes.
Michel Couvret has control at center ice, tries to get it over to his teammate on the right side, can't do it. Bostad intercepts. Now it's back to Krasnick setting up there behind the Oiler goal.
The crowd's starting to come a little more alive now. Kind of dead the first 5 minutes, but that Burton goal and the near shorthanded goal has reawoken them.
Dougie Lawrence sends somebody down. Lakovic comes in, can't find the net. Out to Bostad, unable to hold it in. Oilers are going to have to come out of the zone. Perry behind his own net. Leaves it there for Meisner.
He doesn't stay in that crease very much, does he?
Not when you can get it out there and throw it down to that guy streaking down the right side. You know, there's no reason to do that. Bostad again trying to start a rush up ice to Beausoleil. Now Dan O'Rourke will carry it in over the blue line. He is pushed into the board there by Sean Gorman. Both of the men go down. Centering pass. Cox can't do it, but Clouston is there to put it between Alan Perry, and now we're back to a one-goal game. It's 2-1, the Blazers and the Oilers here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
If you need a truck, it's time to get serious.
The Spirit of Oklahoma Network, we have got a much closer game now. At Blazers 2, Oilers 1. Sean Clouston, the Oiler captain, netting his 22nd goal of the year, and Alan Perry, who had been invincible through the first 35 minutes of this game, suddenly now is going to have a very, very tough time.
Well, you see, not really blame Allen. You see 3 blue shirts in front of him and 3 white shirts trailing the 3 blue shirts. It was 3-0, really, for Perry. He stopped Beausoleil's shot, but Clouston there for the rebound, and Beausoleil scratches. Just had his streak of 10 straight games scoring a point, snapped the loss of Wichita. He's back on the board, playing outstanding over the last few games. Points now in 11 of his last 12 games.
Oilers again, center ice. Left there, Tom Fry picks it up. Now he has it back over the blue line, skates in, and gets the shot off to Cavallin, who thought he had it gloved, looked down and realized it was between his skates, and there he got it. We're going to take another look at the goal here now, Ed.
And let's see if it just really was all Perry again. Look, okay, it's not 3, it's 2.
And everybody trailing, and Sean Clouston.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 Blazers trailing the play. Someone's got to be out in front giving Perry some help. But the Oilers doing a great job of putting the pressure on. And Beausoleil loves playing Oklahoma City.
Ooh, that's Fort Worth.
Yeah. I think, what's that now? 6 points in 7 games against Oklahoma City. He scored 22 on the Blazers last season.
Of all the injuries, Beausoleil's was probably one of the most obvious because he was one of the few scoring threats they had. In the past, they have been a wide-open, high-scoring team. This year, the team Gary Unger has put together was more of a defensive squad. And when Beausoleil went out, that took out a big chunk of the offense with Doug Lawrence not being in and Craig Cox. And so with him back in the lineup, the Oilers are certainly a much more potent threat to win a game 6-4 or 7-5 in one of those contests.
Get the goal by Clouston. I don't want to shortchange Dan O'Rourke, who also picked up an assist. So Clouston, his 22nd goal. Beausoleil, his 24th assist. O'Rourke, his 16th assist. There's Doug Lawrence waving to someone in the crowd.
And he, you know, now the Band-Aid over the nose has gotten to the hockey bit.
I think that one's a legit. I'd like to see another look at that one. It doesn't have the little wings on it.
Not a Neil Smith special.
Remember, I thought he had some blood coming from his mouth. It may have actually been from the nose there in the first period. So that one might be a legit Band-Aid. The rest of them are not.
I tell you, and I like Doug Lawrence, but when you take dives on this ice, it's not like doing it in the pool. This water will hurt you. Cavallin, a weak shot from Gomes, covers up.
And there's Lawrence.
And there's a whole welcome wagon down there behind the bench.
Oh, no, there's some flair on the end of that Band-Aid. There's DuPont and Doug. We said they'd get that's a legit Band-Aid, I think. Here are the 2 talkers. They're going at it. And enjoying every minute of it. I mean, you made this comment. DuPont's either scoring a point or he's sitting in the penalty box. 200 minutes of penalties and 97 points.
And they get off the ice, and both of them all just say, oh, we just part of the game. That's all right. We just chat. That's all.
A short change, 226 penalty minutes. Lawrence probably told you, you got a few to catch me.
In the face-off circle, and now they don't like what's happening, so they're going to throw out Clouston. Enter Chris Robertson.
I'm glad to see that these Cox and the Lawrences back in the league. The champions, what, 2 years ago? Or
2 years ago, Doug Lawrence, a big part of that team. Craig Cox last year with the team. That was it. And as we mentioned, Craig Cox perhaps with one of the best trivia questions, the answers to one of the best trivia questions going.
Which is?
The the Jeopardy question would be, who scored the first goal in San Jose Sharks history? And the answer would be
Greg Cox.
Greg Cox, yes.
All right, but who scored the first goal in the Panthers history?
Yeah, it was that Canadian guy. We have an icing goal, and now we're going to go all the way back down and face it off again. And there comes Doug, and the fans applauding his efforts. Oh my! You can even clap sarcastically, I think.
If you can do it, fans in Tulsa and Oklahoma City can.
Face off now to the glove side of Mark Kavlin. By contrast, this period, Alan Perry's been the busy netminder. Nice stop by Kavlin. Nobody could get control of it, and the puck popped out to Mike St. Jacques, and he just took a little wrist shot and fired it in on Kavlin, who got a piece of it with a stick. It dropped down, and he was able to cover it up.
That was a quick shot. It barely touched his stick, and it was gone. What was he, 21 years old, from Quebec. He was a junior league champion. Look at that, real quick shot. That's how he's managed to get 45 goals. He can do the quick shot. He can use his speed, but he's also a big kid. And if the defense comes up to meet him, he can push his way through a defender and still get the shot off. There's a good look. Again, he's playing with a severely bruised right hand. And he was just able to finally close it around the stick today, missing the last 2 games due to that injury.
Well, it did not appear to be that ailing on that shot, certainly. Jody Prasnick kicks it ahead with his skates and is able to gain control. He'll skate back behind Kavlin, have a look at things here on the ice at the Myriad. Sean Clouston, the man who netted the Oilers' only goal, takes it up the right side, dumps it in. Perry has it behind his net, shoots it along the far boards. Prasnick holds it in, tries to get it in. It's cleared there, but held in by Campbell. Sanderson to Robertson, who made a nifty pass. He just didn't have the cutter coming down in there, and Perry decides that he too will just settle for the face-off.
Some fans right down in front of us, I think they're shocked to see Doug Lawrence back in Tulsa. They've made some handmade signs that they're waving at him as they go off the ice. That's what I love about it.
I'm not sure we can say what's on those signs, can we? Mama's Boy's not bad. Oh. They don't seem to be that picky.
Not bad.
Anybody that comes by, they that can read, they appear that's okay. 3:51 remaining here in the second period. The Blazers still lead it. 2-1 is the score. Blazers got the first 2. Oilers got the last one to make it 2-1. That was at about the 15-minute mark of the second period. So stick around. It will be an exciting third period here at the Myriad.
The Blazers are looking at yet another 1-goal game. As you look at George Dupont, who has 2 assists tonight. 26 of the 59 games for Oklahoma City have been decided by 1 goal. And you count losses and shootouts, the Blazers 11 and 15 in those 1-goal games.
Slino with the shot, Perry with the easy save, and Dupont. Now that's how I skate. Down you go. Try to make that stop, and down you go.
Yeah, but I do it when I first hit the ice out of the gate.
Gets it ahead. Gomes now gets an errant pass and makes the shot, falling down. My goodness, right past Mark Kavlin, and that was a great goal. The score now 3-1. Oklahoma City leads. We're watching here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
1 strikes from underground. 1.
The Blazers adding to their lead now on the goal by Tom Gomes. And Ed, it was a fantastic shot, and one I think that maybe caught Mark Kavlin a little bit by surprise.
I think we'll see that on the replay. Gomes, the hottest Blazer. That's goals now in 4 straight games. He now has 8 goals and 15 points in the last 12 games. He has really come on fire. His 16th goal of the season, his 9th point against Tulsa. So he likes to see the Blazers.
And now you can bet Mike McEwen is just stewing, because the momentum may have been killed. The Blazers on the penalty. The Oilers with the delayed penalty. They skated off Mark Kavlin. Finally, Oklahoma City touches up, and now the Oilers will go on the power play, and the fans here are letting Harrison have it.
Here's the shot by Gomes. You see the defender out there, and he just put a nice move around him, and it was going down as he let the shot go. And if you look, you can almost see the look on Kavlin's face, even though it's kind of far away, but he just looks stunned. 16th goal of the year for Gomes. It is unassisted, and it gives the Blazers a 3-1 lead. Now Gomes is going to get some rest in the penalty box.
Oh, boy, things could turn around here if the Oilers can come up with a score on the power play, which isn't likely, seeing as they are now 3 of 39 on the season against the Oilers. It's just a brilliant goal by Gomes, though. I think we'll forgive him for the penalty. That was just a fantastic goal.
That's the second time he's been caught for holding in the last 7 minutes of this game.
You'd think the ref would overlook that. If you've just made that kind of goal, you should get one. Slino trying to set things up, and the folks in the white shirts aren't going to let it happen. Venus sends it back down, and the Oilers are going to have to try and set it up from behind their own net, and 30 seconds already gone in the power play. We need a word, something other than inept, Ed, to show how things have gone on the power play for Tulsa.
And here's where you miss a Taylor Hall, who has 7 power play goals this season. He has the flu tonight, not on the ice, leading scorer for Tulsa as the Blazers come out 3-on-2.
Laganis leaves it there for Venus. Can't get a shot off. Craig Kikes works it, leaves it over for Bostad. He'll take it up ice now. Ed Murray going down for his rinkside position here at the second intermission. That's now just a minute 45 away. Oilers with 55 seconds left in the power play. They get it out to Dave Moore at the right point. Skates over center ice and finally decides to take it. It's deflected out front, never gets to Perry. Slino along the boards. He holds it in. Beausoleil over there as well. Chipped up into the corner. Mike Sanderson then. And the Blazers are able to clear the puck. 1:15 left in the period, 27 seconds left in the penalty to Tom Gomes, who had a brilliant goal and then got caught for holding. So he has been resting the last minute 40. Oilers bring it up. Barely keeping the play on sides there. Robertson down in the right wing corner. 1 minute left in the period now. He flips it back out to Bostad. He skates over, sends it in. No, working in front of the net. Excuse me, Robertson turns around, can't get a shot. Doug Lawrence now with control, sends it back out to Bostad. He'll fire it in. Perry makes the save, and it is Oklahoma City clearing it, and Gomes just out of the penalty box is able to pick up the loose puck, fires it in on Mark Havlin, who this time was ready and made the save. My goodness, what a day that would have been for Tom Gomes. A gift. He comes out of the penalty box, and there it is, the biscuit right on his stick. He skates in and fires one on Mark Havlin, who makes a great save. Here's the replay. Gomes just out of the box, in over the blue line, tees it up and rip right in the chest of Havlin, and he wisely hangs on to that baby. He might even have a little bruise from that one. A face-off now to the left side of Havlin. Down into the corner. 35 seconds now left in the period. Oklahoma City with control. It's Michel Couvret in the left corner. Krasnick and Simone. St. Jacques now into the other corner. Lakovic has a stick on it. And he'll bring it out right up. St. Jacques goes down. No penalty called. Lakovic still with the puck all the way down into the left wing corner of the Blazer zone. Still has his stick on it, trying to set something up. Oilers hold it in, and Michel Couvret finally chips it out with 3-2-1, and that is the conclusion of the second period. The Blazers lead it 3-1, and the crowd loves it here at the Myriad, all 9,000 plus. It was 1-0 after one. The Blazers get 2 goals in the second half, one of them a brilliant goal by Tom Gomes. The Oilers, thanks to Sean Clouston, cut the lead to 2-1, but then, as I said, Gomes comes back. The other goal in the period on a nice play by Joe Burton, who came down the right wing and ripped one past Mark Havlin. 3-1 is the score here after one period. Ed Murray is down rinkside, and we'll try to get a hold of Gary Unger at some point here. 18 minutes of hockey, or 18 minutes of intermission. We've played 40. We have 20 left. 3-1 the score. If you're wondering, in the 9 games this series, Tulsa won the last one Friday night in Tulsa. 6-2 was the score. Before that, Oklahoma City won on the road 4-3. That was a Sunday game up in Tulsa. Before that, Tulsa won 4 straight. 6-3 is how the season series stands. The Oilers lead it. And again, the playoff berth at stake. 69 points for the second place tied Blazers along with San Antonio. The Oilers a point back at 68. And now let's go down to Ed Murray at ringside. Eddie.
Thank you very much. Joining me, Tulsa coach Gary Unger. And coach, you got back there at 2-1, then gave up a goal there late. Your impression so far?
Well, we've been staying right in the game. We had a lot of the play in that period. I think we've got a strong period. Our third period's our best period, so we're still coming.
Your guys have been in this situation many times before.
A lot of times in this building we've been down, and nobody's thinking lose here now tonight.
What do you need to do now in the third period?
We need to get the puck in deep and get a lot more shots.
Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck in the third period.
Thanks.
Coach Gary Unger, as the Blazers lead his Tulsa Oilers 3-1 here after 2 periods. Let's go back upstairs now to Bill Tegans. Bill?
Okay, thank you, Ed. Again, 3-1 the score. It was 1-0 after the first period. The Blazers got a goal by Joe Burton, his 54th, to make it 2-1 or 2-0. Then Tulsa came back. Sean Clouston with a goal, made it 2-1. And then the Blazers, Tom Gomes, as John talked about, is just a tremendous goal. 3-1 right now after the end of 2 periods. We'll be back with more for the Myriad in just a moment on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
Race fans, there's a storm coming to Remington Park. The thunder of the horses and the pounding of your heart. And talk about a silver lining.
Come to Remington Park Saturday, March the 11th. The first 12,000 fans will receive one of my official TV9 Gary Sennett umbrellas. Good for rain or shine.
Plus, let your heart race with cash drawings. A total of $5,000 will be won. Don't miss TV9 Umbrella Day, Saturday, March 11th at Remington Park.
Friends, if you've just bought a new computer for your home, I'm Bob Mills with a great idea to help you organize your new office. Look at this oak computer cart on casters, just $198. The 48-inch computer desk with all the pullouts, only $298. The large 60-inch executive computer desk, plenty of room for the tower, lots of extra storage, just $399. Friends, no matter where you live, it's worth the trip. Down to 3600 West Reno, look for the balloon at Bob Mills Furniture, the working man's friend.
You know, I could sit up here all day telling you about Hardee's new Hot Melts 2 for $2 deal. Any 2 hot melts for $2. Choose from Hardee's tasty hot ham and cheese, or that juicy mushroom and Swiss burger. And my favorite, the piled high roast beef and cheddar. But I'm not sitting up here all day. I'm gonna go get my own.
Hardee's Hot Melts. Any 2, just $2.
Anybody down there?
For a hot breakfast deal, get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, just 99 cents.
Hardee's.
We're back at the Myriad. Oklahoma City on top of Tulsa by a 3-1 score after 2 periods. Been some great hockey as we expected. Great goaltending in the first period. Mark Kaplan did a great job for Tulsa. Alan Perry, the Nets in the second period for Oklahoma City, had a great second period. Again, 3-1 the score. You know, a lot of people are finding out what Central Hockey League hockey is all about. There have been a record number of call-ups to the International Hockey League this year. Alan Perry was one of the guys who spent some time in Houston, and Ed Murray takes a look at the Central Hockey League and Alan Perry.
And Alan Perry is 2-0 as a Houston Arrow, and you can't argue with those numbers.
For much of February, Blazers goalie Alan Perry enjoyed the cheers at the next level. The Houston Arrows of the International Hockey League needed an emergency replacement, and Perry responded by winning 2 out of his 3 starts, allowing just 1 goal in his Arrows debut.
I've almost given up at that point on getting called up, and I was just thinking, all right, I'll finish out my career in Oklahoma City, and that's great. But that renewed my competitive juices, to say the least.
When the Central Hockey League started up again, a call-up was unheard of. But now, with a record number being called up to the IHL this season, especially for these young guys, the Central Hockey League may prove to be that ticket to the big time.
Guys had some great years in the first year or even the second year, and no one even looked at us. And now the Central Hockey League's on the map because not just myself, but other guys have gone up there and proven they can play. And certainly we've not been an embarrassment to this league. It just leads everybody to believe that they are watching us, and if we keep working hard, good things can happen, where before maybe we didn't have the hope of getting called up. But I know a lot of our guys, you know, in the near future, that they're going to have opportunities that they never had, and I'm just happy for myself and happy for everybody.
And in case you haven't figured it out yourself, you're seeing some pretty good hockey in the CHL.
I think the shooters in our league can shoot just as hard. The puck can go just so fast. And now some of our guys can shoot almost 100 miles an hour. The big difference up there is the game is so much quicker, and they shoot the puck, well, they release the puck quicker. Like, just when they get the puck on their stick, they let it go. Other than that, there's not that much difference. So I just hope it really, from now on, they start calling up a lot of guys, because a lot of guys deserve it.
This Oklahoma
period, and if history is any indication, we should be in for a great third period. Oklahoma City and Tulsa not only battling for a spot in the Central Hockey League playoffs, but it's the greatest rivalry in the Central Hockey League. Should have a lot of fun here coming up in the third period. John Anderson and Ed Murray will take us home, guys.
Thank you, Bill Teagans. Hope all of you out there watching are enjoying the game. Channel 6 KOTV in Tulsa, Channel 9 KWTV here in Oklahoma City. Ed, you work the weekends. You getting one off to go up to the Big 8 tournament this week?
I'll be watching all the action back at the station. Bill Teagans, Chris Harrison, Greg Blackwood of our staff will be up there bringing back all the action. Should be a rock'em saga, especially though you know if you can win the Friday and meet for Bedlam. That also guarantees one in the championship game. We're also keeping our eye. Tulsa lost one there the other night, but they still should get that at-large invitation. Got to.
But now we're back to hockey. I also, Ed, though, I'll call you because I'll be in Tulsa watching all the action on the television
we'll talk,
as well.
We'll talk back and forth. Share those feeds.
Tulsa wins the opening draw here in the third period, fires it down where Alan Perry took control of it. And it still remains in the Blazer zone. Now it's kicked out into the neutral zone.
Well, I've just had a scoring update. That first goal,
yes,
they've taken it away from Kevin Meisner. They've given it to the guy we thought originally scored it, Joe Burton, who now has 2 goals in the game for the 4th time this season against Tulsa. He either scores 2 or none. Joe Burton with 2 goals tonight. And Meisner's still looking for his first one. Luckily, I don't have to break the news for it.
Yeah, luckily you're already done. Hey, you didn't have to talk to Mike McEwen last game. You got him in a good period this time around. Well, that's what I had written down, Joe Burton, so I'm a little vindicated there. You know, that happened 3.5 minutes in. And so I've been, you know, a slug for 37 minutes, but I had it right.
And it was unassisted, so you also take away an assist for DuPont. And he won't be too happy about that. But you know who had it right? Our camera crew and our director, who zoomed right in on Joe Burton when the goal was scored.
All right, I cheated. I looked at who they zoomed in on. I thought it had to be the guy. We played a minute here in the third period. Not much happening. Still 3-1. Blazers leading the Oilers. We're going to have a face-off to the glove side of Alan Perry.
Let me open our numbers file again.
Absolutely.
Oklahoma City leading after 2 periods. They have lost 7 times, 5 times in shootouts. When they have led, they are 23-2-5. However, at home, 16-0-2, leading after 2 periods. Tulsa, when trailing after 2, 7-15-3. 2-7-1 on the road.
Michel Couvrette there skating in over the blue line, getting the puck over to not George DuPont, Michael St. Jacques, who let one fly, but it was wide. Scared the people sitting behind the glass there, but that was about all the damage it did. Luc Beausoleil now at center ice. Gets caught up with Slino. The puck comes free, and Dave Moore's got it, turns, fires, and Alan Perry makes the kick save. Very nicely done there.
Tulsa testing Perry early, as Coach Unger said he wanted to do. Get that puck down deep and give Perry some tests. Tulsa has scored 93 third-period goals this year. The Blazers just 67.
Michel Couvrette again carries in over the line, skates to the right side, tries a centering pass, bounces away harmlessly. Slino picks it up and will go back the other way. He slides it over to Luc Beausoleil, skates it in behind the net. No luck there. Taking off the puck. Oilers, Blazers changing up now on the fly. Bill Campbell has it. Flips it out. Controlled by Tulsa. Sanderson in over the blue line. Tried to center it. Stopped up there by Meisner. Kept in by Doug Lawrence. Meisner along the near boards. It'll go length of the ice where Bill Campbell will catch up with it. He will stand behind the net. Tom Fry says, well, you just go ahead. Skates back. Jody Prasnick now, the defenseman. He'll flip it in. Perry doesn't need to make a save play, but will go out and get it. Shoots it up to Chris Laganis. Center ice there. That might be the easiest save that Kaplan will have to face all night. Sanderson behind his own net, heads up ice.
Good news for both these teams. Wichita leading Fort Worth 3-1, 2.5 into the third period. And we made fun of it, but what a game. Memphis 5-4 over Dallas 1 minute into the second.
Well, you know, you don't want to finish last. First place, no place. You know, that's how it goes. Pass there just out of the reach of Tom Gomes. He picks it up, though, off the rebound, and now has it behind the net. Tries to center it off the side of the net, no good, and Sanderson will clear the zone. racing back. It'll be touched up by Slivka, and we'll have an icing call, and we'll bring it down to the other end. There'll be a face-off and a break here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. Welcome back here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. John Anderson, Ed Murray, Bill Teagans, and Dave Moore, who has the puck over and across the blue line for the Oilers. Bostad fires it. A loose puck out in front. Lakovic gets a stick on it, can't do anything. No threat there to Perry. Came through, but he didn't have to make any of the save. Blazers control and carry it up ice. DuPont over the blue line into the corner. Centering pass again, just too far for Gomes. He goes crashing down. No call from Harrison, and they'll go back the other way. This time it's Moore ahead to O'Rourke. He'll leave it back for Moore. The shot, Perry kicks it aside, and it's picked up by the Blazers, but held in there by Prasnik. And he keeps control of it. Lakovic gets a stick on it out in front, but can't control.
Lakovic's turning his game up. Again, 12-0-1 when he scores a goal. He's been hot, especially against the Blazers, and he's turning it up here early in the third.
Clouston puts a shot on net that gets knocked down before it gets Perry, and then it's flipped out of play, and we have a stoppage of play. Ed, if the Wichita and Fort Worth score holds, Alan Poston, the Blazers public relations director, stopped by and said that a win would make it so that Oklahoma City would control their own destiny. If they win out, then they could not be caught if indeed Fort Worth will lose tonight. So that would be good in the sense that now every time you go in the dressing room, you know what the task is at hand and you don't have to scoreboard watch.
Winning out is going to be tough for all these teams, though. The Blazers have at Wichita. They've got Tulsa once more. They've got Wichita twice, as a matter of fact, home and away. 58% winning percentage of the upcoming opponents. Tulsa, also a tough time, is St. Jacques just misses an open net. Tulsa also has a couple of trips to San Antonio and one more back here at Oklahoma City. They play San Antonio 3 times, as a matter of fact. So it's not going to be easy for either of these two teams, but you do always like to have your destiny in your control.
Oklahoma City off tomorrow, and I believe playing Thursday and Friday, then both teams enjoying the weekend off.
Our attendance, by the way, 9,114 for this game. Again, sometime in the next 2 home games, the Blazers should have their 1 millionth fan here in the rebirth of the CHL.
Cox gets it out to Bostad. His shot gets deflected back out. No, in front to Cox, and there's the man with the wicked right hand. He just snares that baby out of the air and skates out of trouble.
That's the first pop-up in spring I've seen caught. I'll leave it up to you. Here we are out in front. There's the pop-up. And Perry, good concentration, because one of the Oilers was coming down on him pretty good.
All the runners have to hold. Nobody gets to move up.
Who is that? Cox.
Play, yeah.
Look at Cox.
No high stick there either.
Well, he didn't hit it. Probably would have caught it if he'd made contact with it.
A face-off now to the right side of Alan Perry. Sanderson wins the draw back out to Bostad. Doug Lawrence is there on the ice, had a chance to put a glove on it. Doug Lawrence has been quiet in terms of playing. He's done some talking, but have not heard much out of Doug Lawrence tonight. Robertson now has the puck tied up with 2 Blazers on the far board. Lawrence in there as well. Now we're going to make it 3-on-3. It's a large dance. Doug Lawrence comes out with it on the far boards. And it is kicked out by an Oklahoma City Blazer and down the length of the ice. And icing will be called when it's touched up by Colin Bostad. So we'll go back to the other end and face it off. 13:55 left in the game. 3-1. Blazers lead the Oilers. I guess now we say in regulation. There's always that chance. We're not watching college football bowl games.
The Blazers certainly have had their share of shootouts. 6 games ago, he was shelled at San Antonio, an 11-0 loss. So it's amazing how quickly confidence and things can turn around. Allen getting a lot of confidence from that Sunday victory, 3-1 over San Antonio.
And now breaking in alone is Gomes again. He's got Kaplan, and what a play by Bostad. Just dives and is able to poke check it away. Still not out of trouble, though. Gomes again sends it, and it goes down to the corner, and he's got Sanderson with him. And there to help pick it up, though, is DuPont. No good. Bostad has it, and they get it around to Sanderson. It's left there, and Gomes gets a shot blocked by Kaplan. DuPont controls, leaves it on the far side. Burton picks it up, and now the Oilers have it and are going to try to regroup, but kept in there by Burton. The pressure's still on by Oklahoma City. A shot there is wide by Burton. Along the near boards is Bostad. Lawrence is there as well. He gets it, and finally it's out of the zone. Gomes with a great look from right in front of the net. Now over the blue line, it's Doug Lawrence. Tries the centering pass. Dave Moore can't get to it. Sanderson takes a whack at it. Doug is there. Tries again. Nothing. A lot of action, but Alan Perry's done a lot of watching in that case. Everybody gets by him, but nobody yet has been able to get one on net or on his stick. Touched up again.
And he has put a lot of pressure, but Bostad has been everywhere tonight and is playing a whale of a game. And if Tulsa can come back and win it, he's going to be a big reason why.
Yeah, he's done a very nice job, and on probably some tired legs at this point, because they're skating just 4 defensemen now with the loss of Mike Berger, who we have not seen since midway through the first period when he went out with back spasms. We've got another offsides call, and so we're going to stop play and have a face-off. 3-1 the score, 12:35 left in regulation time.
You mentioned Berger going out. If you joined us late, Taylor Hall's out in the bus sleeping. He's got the flu. That's the leading scorer for Tulsa. Goals scored, points scored. So, in essence, Tulsa took the ice shorthanded tonight, especially with the return of Mike St. Jacques for the Blazers. The Blazers picking up a little scoring punch. Tulsa losing a great deal.
And the Oilers can't really afford to lose that much scoring when you think that they do not have one score in the top 20. City Hall tied with a few others there at the 20th spot with 60 points, but after that, nobody, whereas Oklahoma City has, I believe, the 2nd, 5th, and 10th scores in the CHL. A centering pass there, and Laganis fanned on the shot, didn't get much of it. Now Lakovic will come back the other way, leaves the drop pass for Campbell. He is tripped up, and Tom Fry is going to be whistled for a penalty and be sent off, and the Oilers at 12:09 will go on the power play. You're watching on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. 3-1 the score. Blazers lead the Oilers here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. The replay there with Sasha Lakovic picking up the puck, and we're out of it now and back to action. The Oilers on the power play, but they can't hold it, and here comes Burton skating in, lets it fly, and Kavlin is there. That was about neck high and making the grab. He's done a nice job.
Second time Burton's come in shorthanded, and second time he's ripped off a pretty good-looking shot at Kavlin, and both times Kavlin's come up big. Here you see Burton as he comes in. Prasnik getting back to give a little bit of problem to Burton, but that shot is right in the breadbasket. And Kavlin say, wait a minute, puck's supposed to be on the other end. There's Fry in the box for tripping.
How would you like to be the guy working the door there? You see some goateed guy all sweaty and mad because he's 6'4" and 250 pounds skating at you.
That's why we're sitting way up here on the other side of the ice. Maybe a critical power play. Still plenty of time left, 11:50, but you know, it's one of these deals. Tulsa struggled so much against the Blazers. If they score, the great confidence. If they come up short again, it's got to start setting again.
Beausoleil gets it into the zone, held there on the other side by Prasnik. Shoots it over to Moore. Decides to take the shot. Off a stick, up and out of play. Oh, see, now Alan Perry, if he'd have been sitting in the seats, would have had that. As it is, it's gone. And now they skate over, and as you said, Ed, they touch that goalie, and boy, I tell you, that'll attract the crowd in a hurry.
Pair of sixes going at it. Lakovic and Geeky.
Yeah, the Oilers working on a 3 for 39 stretch in the 9 game. Now the 9 2/3 games, 3/4 game against Oklahoma City. Just amazing.
We're going to take another look at it. Let's see if Perry gets touched here. They actually, well, Lakovic and Geeky kind of tied up there. I don't think that one was getting to the goaltender. Lakovic said, I don't like it. Geeky just staring at him. Oh. I'm surprised right there a penalty wasn't called. The first push was okay. The second push, let's look at it again. Let's see how much time elapses before the second push comes. And you can see,
there's Harrison.
Harrison is looking right at it, so he didn't think it was bad enough to send someone to the box.
1:20 left in the power play. The penalty of Tom Fries. Tulsa trying to set it up. Beausoleil has it now in the corner. Skating there. Elects to go to his left to Robertson. Skating behind the net. Flips it back the other way. Beausoleil has it again. Out to Dave Moore at the blue line. Skates in, lets it go. Hit Robertson out front, or Gorman perhaps. And the Oilers can't hold it. The zone is cleared. It'll go all the way back. You can ice that puck in the power play. Dave Moore going to have to skate back and pick it up.
Beausoleil coming off the ice. I can only remember one shot tonight. He connects on 25%. 1 out of every 4 shots goes in. He has been very, very limited in the amount of opportunities he's had tonight against the Blazers.
That might be the key to the success there. The 2 offensive threats out there for Tulsa. Beausoleil not getting many looks, and the assist man Doug Lawrence has been bottled up pretty effectively too by the defenseman, which is nice, a nice sign for the Blazers, seeing as you said, they're a bunch of young kids that haven't played much, and even the ones they have now were not their best.
Well, Lawrence and Sanderson, who's been hot since being acquired in February, are on the ice now. 6 seconds left in the power play, and they're not going to get off the shot here. Another real weak attempt. It's now 3 for the last 40. Wow.
Do the math at home there, but it's not very good. Doug Lawrence has it at center ice. Trying to get by. Getting a bit of the business from Slivka. Geeky and No going at it in the corner.
It's .075 against the Blazers on the power play for Tulsa.
Doug Lawrence check there. The helmet comes off. No penalty called. A clean check.
And that was Geeky, one of the new kids. He said, hey, Doug, welcome back to CHL, buddy.
Perry out in front. Doug Lawrence got a piece of that, and it went back towards the goal, but it was going slow enough that Alan Perry was able to dive out and relieved Alan Perry there with the puck in hand.
Doug Lawrence doing what he does best. He gets checked hard in the boards. Where does he end up? Right where the puck is. There's the puck into the corner, comes out, takes one of those angled shots. Lawrence got a piece of, ridden down there, and actually, it looked like Sanderson coming over and actually got the shot off. But there you see Couvret coming over and riding Doug Lawrence off the puck. Perry liking that defense out front. Amazing, though, Thornberry and Ignatieff, the two top defensemen, especially in the scoring department. But Thornberry is injured. Ignatieff playing in the IHL for the rest of the season. I think a lot of folks were surprised he stayed here as long as he did. Didn't get that call up to the IHL, but they're going to have to do it with the new kids from the university system.
Sean Clouston back behind the boards, gets it out in front. Alan Perry, though, able to make the first stop and then clear the puck. It'll go down to the other end. Krasnick's going to touch up, though, and we're going to go all the way back down because we have an icing call.
Let's see what the next 2 minutes brings. Okay, Tulsa now unsuccessful once again on the power play. Never really got that good an opportunity. A couple of shots maybe, but 0 for 4 in this game. 3 of 40 against the Blazers. You see the Tulsa fans, they're a bit concerned, and they've seen this team time and time again come back, but you can see a little concern on their faces. Again, 3 goals in 3 minutes. I keep harping on that. It was a tie game last time they met in Tulsa. 3 goals in 3 minutes on the shorter ice, so things can happen a lot quicker in Tulsa, but next 2-3 minutes, we'll see. Kavlin's ready. He knows he's got to hold the Blazers at this point.
Next few minutes, and I think the next goal. 4-1 becomes insurmountable. 3-2 makes a heck of a game out of it. Face off just to the right of center ice there at the red line. Smacked in there by Meisner.
Smacked?
Smacked it in there.
Kavlin's had some real tough shots to stop here lately.
O'Rourke was coming, so Perry says, I don't want this thing. Campbell skating in behind the net. Can't control it as he comes around the cage.
Ridden off by Meisner.
Shoots it there, has the man wide open, and O'Rourke can't get the shot off. But Clouston as well shoots it high over the net. Good action in front, but the Oilers just can't seem to find many holes there in Alan Perry.
Sean Gorman giving up the body on the defense, and the Oilers keeping alive, kicking it around. As you mentioned, nice action out in front. Sean Gorman, the veteran.
St. Jacques takes it in. There he smacked one, Ed. Kavlin got a piece of that one, and it goes wide.
I'll give you a smack on that one.
At center ice, now in his own zone. Geeky picks it up, sends it to center ice for St. Jacques. He kicks it over to Couvret. Back over to Geeky. He's in over the blue line. Down in the corner, tries a centering pass, hits Bill Campbell's skate. Clouston has it. We're going to go the other way as he gets it to Slino, heading straight up the center ice. Sly affecting not to shoot. Now skates in on Perry, and oh my goodness, did he have him on a string. He had Alan Perry. It's 3-2. And Ed, we got a close one now here on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
Getting fit.
We have got a great one here at the Myriad on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. 3-2 Blazers and Oilers. Slino making the second goal in a 1-goal game. And Ed, I think what Alan Perry said in your piece during the intermission about the shooters in this league being every bit as good as anywhere else was shown there as Slino had time, picked his spot, and beat Alan Perry.
Much like Burton's second goal of the game. He had time to measure up Kavlin. Let's take of this game. You see that, just skating in. That's one-on-one. That's almost like a penalty shot or a shootout shot. He had a chance to pick his spot. And Sylvain is on the board.
7:53 of 12:07 of the third period. The time of the goal, 7:53 left when it was scored, 3-2. Then you could see there, he was skating in there so slow, he was building up some ice on that stick. Shot hits the post, fired wide that time by DuPont. He was looking for another one. Man goes down, no call by Harrison. Apparently 9,000 other people saw it, but not the man with the orange sleeves. Robertson over the blue line, but he is offside.
I need to scratch one of my notes here. I have down here DuPont, good around the net, but a weak shot. He fired that one. I'm going to scratch.
He smacked it.
Yeah, that was a smack. I'm going to scratch weak shot off of my notes here. Wow, he let that one rip, but it was wide.
Well, we said the next goal was the difference, at least in terms of how the last 7 or 8 minutes of this thing were going to go. 3-2, a one-goal game. How different from 3, and Alan Perry could have been cruising the last 8 minutes. And now hang on and don't turn off the TV, because we have a great 7:26 coming up for you. Mark Kavlin winded in his net. Alan Perry out, looking ready in his. We have a face-off near center ice, and it's back to Dave Moore over to Bostad. He's going to fire it down into the right wing corner there of the Blazer zone.
We said the next 2 minutes important. They only needed about 1:10 of it. They knew it was important and went to work.
Kavlin, another one of those tough saves where Bostad picks it up.
Both goals Alan Perry has given up. The puck's been right out in front with no defenseman out to help.
Yep, the defenseman in that case decided to take a look at the other man. Couvret comes over the blue line, lets go a shot. Kavlin makes the save. It flies up behind him.
Couvret's let something fly at his former teammates. You probably just sense that he'd like to rip one in here, especially in a one-goal situation now.
Probably would. St. Jacques comes in. What a save. No, it bounces over Mark Kavlin. He makes the save, but the rebound bounces up and over him, and Michael St. Jacques makes it a 4-2 Blazer lead with 6:40 left in the game, and suddenly the Oilers are back against the wall.
How is that for an answer? 1:13 after the Tulsa goal. Here's St. Jacques. I told you he can power through a defenseman. The puck goes off Kavlin and just goes in and had so much on it. St. Jacques using his speed. Here's his
skating
speed.
in hard.
And now the power to get by the defenseman, and the shot so much on it off the goalie right into the net.
Kavlin made a nice job to get over and stop that puck. But when you're laying prone on your back, you can't get up there to make that rebound, and it gets into the corner of the net. 4-2 the score. Mike St. Jacques, his 46th. And now no fans on the shot, and the pressure staying on with the Blazers. They get him out of the net, and DuPont scores. Ed, make that a hat trick for number 25 tonight. Sloppy defense by the Oilers. I'm sorry, that would be Burt. Excuse me, yes. 5-2 now, George DuPont. And my, how impressive was that? The Oilers get lax, and suddenly 2 quick goals. And you talked about how quick the Oilers scored Friday night. Well, it was just the opposite here. The Blazers come back with 2 quick goals, less than a minute apart.
Well, 14 seconds. 14 seconds apart. The goals by St. Jacques and DuPont. And Ben Buckland, the PA announcer here in the mirror, was still trying to get out the assist on the St. Jacques goal. He's got some more to talk about with DuPont.
We didn't even get to mention that St. Jacques had set the rookie record for scoring with his 46th goal. Well, before George DuPont had made it a 5-2 game.
The 46, he already had the record 45, but the 76 points now. He now has the rookie record for goals and points. That may have locked up if it wasn't locked before the Rookie of the Year.
And at the expense of perhaps the other candidate, Mark Kavlin. 14 seconds between goal, and Oklahoma City has it again. Burton centers it out in front. Gomes can't make it. Now it's loose still. Bostad on his knees at least gets it away. Slivko with the shot. St. Jacques out in front still. On his knees now. Finally, Cox has it, and we've got a penalty called on Harrison, and let's see who's headed off the ice.
He may have just waved it. He just put his arms out, skating over, but he may have waved that one off. There's the St. Jacques. Got it started. Now Harrison is going to call a penalty now.
Slino headed off the ice for 2 minutes, and how about that for turning up the heat? just when the Oilers had gotten it to 3-2, Oklahoma City turns it up and just shuts the door. 2 goals in 14 seconds, and then the unbelievable pressure in front of Mark Kavlin. 4 or 5 great opportunities in front of the net. Kavlin luckily gets them all, but at one point, Slino picks up the penalty. He is disgusted with himself in the penalty box. 5-2, and Oklahoma City now on the power play. 5:49 left in the contest, and Oklahoma City now in control here at the Myriad. Clouston wins the draw back to Prasnik. He'll just try to get it out of the zone, and he does. Perry makes the stop. Simone is back to pick it up. He'll take it himself now. Up over his own blue line, through the red, shot down into the left wing corner of the Oilers zone. Perrin comes back over to Kavlin, held in there by Meisner. Along the board, Brett picks it up and just kind of slips it over there to Tom Fry. And we're going to have a stoppage of play.
All right, I'm still trying to figure out.
You can't write that fast.
Man, this is something, I tell you. Okay, on the St. Jacques goal at 13:20, St. Jacques is 46th goal, 76 point. Both are CHL rookie records. The assist, Sean Gorman, is 12th. Kevin Meisner took a goal away from him. He's got an assist tonight, his 4th. Then 14 seconds later, George Dupont, his 24th goal of the year, his 2nd point of the night. Laganis, his 13th assist. Venus, his 21st goal overall, his 2nd as a Blazer, a recent pickup. Writer's cramp.
And they're not done yet. They're still skating hard. Simone in over the blue line. Down in the corner, O'Rourke goes after to get it. On the power play, 1:12 left in the Blazer one-man advantage. Shot by Simone, saved by Kavlin, gets by, but right back out to Meisner. Over to Simone, fakes the shot, now dumps it in for Couvret. Bostad picks it up, tries to get it out of the zone. No luck. Simone holds it in, and that time he clears it, and the Oilers will pull it. The Blazers will pull it out and try again to set it up with 50 seconds left on the man advantage. Slino in the penalty box for the visiting Tulsa Oilers.
Here's some good news for both these teams. Wichita 3, Fort Worth 1. That is a final. Fort Worth picks up 0 points, so neither one of these teams, however it ends up, will not lose any ground to 5th place Fort Worth.
And it appears at this moment that means the Fire will stay 3 points back of Tulsa, and Oklahoma City, which came in with a 4-point advantage, will move that to 6. Behind the net now, 20 seconds left on the power play.
That's big because Tulsa again can pick up 4 points. They have 2 extra games over the Blazers.
Meisner holds it in. Moore along the boards. Push back out to Silka. Shot point blank by Couvret. Kavlin makes the save, and Campbell gets it out. Now coming up on the other side, it's Chris Robertson. He takes a shot, and Perry owns it. It is a save there, and Alan Perry, who has sitting and been watching a lot of action, comes up there. Robertson with a good opportunity.
Well, you thought the penalty is over. The Blazers, we talk about the anemic Oiler power play. The Blazers, again, since the loss of Thornberry to injury, 4 of their last 31. So the Blazers aren't doing it that well either. But right now, they have a 5-2 lead on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network.
Welcome back on the Spirit of Oklahoma Network. 5-2 when we left, 5-3 when we come back. The Tulsa Oilers quickly off a face-off, netting a goal. It's 5-3. That might be a case, though, of way too little, way too late. Here it is off the face-off. Craig Cox comes in, shoots the puck by the glove side of Alan Perry, and it's 5-3. Craig Cox, since he has come back, his 2nd goal in his 2nd stint with the Oilers. 5-3. Beausoleil with an assist on the play.
I would say it's too little too late for any other team, but the Tulsa Oilers, they are magic in the 3rd period. And you talk, we see the Blazers answer quickly with 2 goals in 14. How about that? Tulsa comes right back and answers, 3 minutes later?
Well, in every case, when the Oilers have scored, it has been the Blazers to come back immediately, and we'll see if that holds. But the same line will stay out there. Cox, Beausoleil, and No for the Oilers. Beausoleil gets it up to No over the blue line. He'll skate in, stops, tries to get it in centering pass. It's stolen there by Slivka, and he's going to take it up ice. Centers it over, flips it over to the right wing, and there it is. Kavlin slides through the crease, and how helpless would that be? He didn't quite get a stick on it. He just had to watch it trickle through the crease there.
Venus almost deflected that one in. He just couldn't quite get the right angle he needed.
Cox behind him for Bostad. Oilers changing up a defenseman. Campbell in. Prasnik to the bench. Now all of them will switch on the fly, except for Doug Lawrence, who'll stay out there. He got an early jump on the rest of his mates. Behind the net. Dougie down in the left wing corner. Robertson takes it there. Tried to center it. He did to a Blazer. Not what he wanted. St. Jacques. Still now in the Blazers' end.
Kavlin thought about coming off the ice.
2:20 left, and Gary Unger has decided that maybe it is time to put the 6th attacker out on the ice. Kavlin, as you said, boy, he was making that move, and now he comes here too. Chris Robertson stick handles.
He's between the circles. He's thinking about it.
Doug Lawrence brings it in. Kavlin got halfway there, and then he decided, no, that's coming down to my end. I'm going to get back in the cage. We have icing, and he will probably stay out there for the face-off.
More aggressively as Kavlin is coming off the ice now for a 6th attacker. It'll be Beausoleil, but the Blazers much more aggressive with the 3-1 lead tonight against Tulsa as they build confidence. Tulsa needs something now to get their confidence back now as we head